Hey everybody, this is Dr. Flight. Hope you're doing great. We're walking our way through pricing. It's a big area of business, big area that affects the entire firm, and especially kind of how we view our relationship with other organizations that we do business with, and especially our customers. So we're wrapping around this idea of the 5 C's of pricing, and basically the idea is when we set a strategy, there are a lot of moving parts, a lot of components that will impact that price decision. And so let's spend just a little bit of time talking about the channel members. Now, when we talk about channel members, what we're talking about is, let's say we have a product and the product goes from raw materials to production, and then it goes, once it's produced, it gets distributed to the end user, the customer. And the process in which the product gets to the customer, that's the channel. That's the channel in which it goes. Now, this could include information. It could include the physical product. It can include service, include a lot of values. We're creating value for the customer. All those values could be brought to the customer in different ways, and each way is called a channel. So that's what we call, when we talk about channels, channel members are individual companies or organizations that have a role in bringing the product to the customer. So I want to throw out a couple channel strategies. There are a lot of channel strategies at the retail level, which we'll get to in a second. There's also something that's called channel markup, or demand backwards pricing is another term that's used, but channel markup is something that we do. So what the idea here is, we have the final price the customer sees, but in order to make the final price the customer sees, everybody who's in the channel needs to be compensated for their role in creating value. Does that make sense? So in other words, the customer sees the price on the shelf, but that price, that money they pay, doesn't go entirely to the producer. Some goes to the retailer, some goes to the wholesaler, some goes to the trucking company, some goes to all the different businesses that had a role in bringing that product to the end user. So that's this idea of channel pricing, or in this case, demand backwards pricing. So let me walk through this just quickly so you know the concept. Just want you to know the concept of this more than anything else. There's a bunch of math behind this. It's not complicated, but it can get a little tedious at times. Let's say we have a product that's on the shelf in the store, and the customer walks up, they see it's $5.50. Okay, so no problem. They go to buy that product. Well, who gets that $5.50? I mean, where does that money go? I know the customer pays the retailer, and the retailer accepts it. But here's the thing. The retailer had to buy that product in order to resell it. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, well, how much did the retailer earn, for selling that product? And in this case, we're going to say the retailer earned 50 cents. Okay, if they earned 50 cents, where did the rest of the $5 go? The customer paid, right? Well, some of it went to the wholesaler. The wholesaler, in this case, earned 25 cents. So far, the retailer earned 50, the wholesaler earned 25. That's 75 cents that's been accounted for. We still have $4.75 that has not been accounted for. Oh, there's another component here, another channel member. Remember, these are all channel members. There's a sales agent who earned 15 cents out of this. So for that product to be sold, the sales agent had to do some work to match up the buyer and the seller. So match up, in this case, the producer and the wholesaler. They made this deal work, and as a reward, as compensation, they get 15 cents out of that $5.50, which means whatever's left over, the manufacturer then earns. So in this case, we take the original $5.50 and we subtract out all of these earnings that everybody else in the channel has earned in order to bring that value proposition to the marketplace, right? So the manufacturer in this case then earns $4.60. So that's what the manufacturer will receive in revenue. Now remember, the manufacturer had to produce the product, so they've got their fixed costs and they've got their variable costs. So then they take that $4.60 and they identify their profit from that. Okay, so this is this idea of channel member demand backwards pricing. I want you to know that concept, that there's a concept out there that's associated with pricing this way, where we start at the customer and then work our way back to identify what price should be. Some other channel member pricing ideas. Again, I mentioned this idea that at the retail level, there are a lot of different pricing strategies that can happen. One of these is called everyday low pricing. So it's EDLP for short, everyday low pricing. So some retailers you'll know are discount stores, or like Walmart maybe, or Dollar Tree, those types of stores. Where their strategy is to price their products on average slightly lower than their general competitors. Everyday low pricing. It helps to reduce the consumer's search costs. Remember, searching as a consumer, it's something that they do in their decision-making process. Well, if I'm price sensitive and I know I can get the lowest price at one store, then I'll just always go to that store because I know that there'll be a low price, and so I'll go there. Specifically for that type of store. Okay, and so this kind of gives me confidence, and it lets me kind of understand how I should shop. The opposite of this, or a different strategy, would be something called a high-low pricing strategy. And this is something that a lot of times retailers will use this strategy if they have regular sales or discounted items, like grocery stores. Every week, grocery stores have items that are on sale. And so basically the idea is those items that are on sale are the low-priced items, and you come in and you buy some of those. You buy also complementary items that go with those low-priced items, yet those complementary items are priced higher. So we set a price for a few low products. A few products are set low, and then we go ahead and sell, do a sale and entice people. So the low-high pricing. The lure of low prices brings in customers into the store, and by doing so, they ultimately buy other products which are priced at full price. And then what we do is we average those prices together, and we get this idea of our total margin. That's kind of how we do it. We don't look at margin prices. We don't look at break-evens for the low-priced items. We bundle all the prices together. We bundle all the margins together to get our profit. Okay, so a couple different, and these are based on psychology. So these are based on the psychology of the consumer and kind of the pressure or the incentive consumers have to save money and kind of entice them into our store. Two other strategies which are super important to know about, you got to know these strategies. It's called penetration pricing and price skimming. So this is often done when a new product is introduced to the marketplace. A penetration pricing strategy is when we set an initial low price to encourage a lot of people to join the market. A lot of people will come in and buy, and then over time we'll slowly raise our price up to where we want it to be for a long period of time. So it's sort of like a short-term inducement to get people to come in, buy your product, become loyal to your product, and then once they're loyal, we'll raise the prices over time to where we want it to be. Certainly when you start with a low price, you're going to have a low profit margin, but you'll compensate that low profit margin with increased units sold. The opposite of this strategy is called a skimming price strategy, where we set a high price initially when we launch that product, and then over time we lower it. Okay, so basically the idea here is we set the price high because we have an innovation and that we're going to behave like a monopolist because nobody else can really copy us. So we set the price high and then go low. Apple does this very consistently. A new phone will come out, a new product will come out, and they'll set the price high, and then over time the price will come down a little bit, and then when a new product comes out, it'll go down quite a bit. We have this example of Call of Duty and video games in general. So high demand products, products that are going to be like launched during the gift giving holiday season from November through December. New products that come out that are going to be like really in demand will set a high price, right? And then after the demand subsides a little bit, we'll start lowering our price to capture the rest of the market. So people who want the product the most, well, they'll be willing to pay the most. And so we extract that from the market using a price skimming strategy. Okay, so demand backward pricing, kind of be familiar with what that is. EDLPs, high-low pricing, be familiar with what those are as well, and then also be able to, very, very important that you know the difference between penetration pricing and skimming price strategies. Those are when you introduce new products into the marketplace. Be familiar, be comfortable with those types of things. Okay, and these are all sort of channel pricing, and also just kind of this idea of tapping into consumer and consumer demand is basically the idea of this material. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Be sure to study these. These are questions you'll see on tests and quizzes. Thanks.